This week we're going to talk about how to automatically find highs and lows and plot them on a map just like this using the GFS analysis data that we collected last week. Welcome to another MetPy Monday. Hello, I'm John, a software engineer for NSF Unidata. And this week we're going to start out with the code that we had in last week's GFS data video. So if you haven't watched that video and have the code up to here, be sure to go follow that video so that you're ready to start on this exercise with us. What we're going to do first is add some things to our imports. So we've already got our time zone imports, but we're going to be making a map, so that means we're going to need Cartopy. So I'm going to import cartopy.crs, the coordinate reference system, as ccrs, and I'm going to import cartopy.feature as cfeature. We're going to be making some plots, so that means we're going to need matplotlib. So we're going to import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. We have our NumPy and Xarray imports already that we're going to need. We're getting our data using Siphon. We already have MetPy units, but we're going to need a few more things from MetPy. From metpy.calc, I'm going to import the findPeaks method. And from metpy.plots, I'm going to import scattertext. Now, the rest of this is just as it was last time. So we've already run this notebook and got our data for sea level pressure. So now we're ready to make our calculation of the highs and lows, their positions, and then we'll make a plot. We're going to do this using the peak persistence function. This is relatively new in MetPy, and it's based on Huber 2021, which as always is linked here if you want to go see how this works. But really, it's a peak persistence method. It's a nice way for us to try to find these highs or lows, either way, in a relatively reliable automatic way when you have things like noisy data. And the short version of this is it's very similar to the falling water level method. We're seeing how long a peak persists until, as the water level, if you will, around this topography lowers, that peak connects to another neighboring peak. So let's go ahead and use that. And we're going to find the highs and the lows, so we're going to have to call it twice. The y position of the highs and the x position of the highs are going to come from findPeaks, mslp.values. If you want to know what findPeaks takes, you can use Shift-Tab to pull up the documentation. We've got a two-dimensional array of values to search. That's our sea level pressures. And it's going to return row indices, column indices. Now for the lows, we're going to operate much the same way. We're going to call findPeaks again on the same data. But in this case, we're going to say we don't want you to find the maxima. We actually want you to find minima. And just so we can see what we get back, we're going to print out what we get for the x and y location of the highs. And we'll do the same thing for the lows, just to give ourselves an idea of, did we find way too many, something is wrong, or do things look like they worked? Okay, so it says that it found 3 highs and 1 low. That could or could not be reasonable. We don't know exactly what this data looks like. We do know this is the same case study data from the StuV and Immogram lessons, so we're obviously looking at a storm system here, so we expect to see at least a low pressure system in the plains. Potentially promising. So let's go ahead and now make our plot. First, we're just going to need to make a contour plot of MSLP. Then we'll actually take these calculations and plot them on there. So let's do the simple plot. First, we're going to create a figure. I'm going to specify my fig size to be 11 by 8. And we're going to create an axis. We need to specify the projection of that axis. In this case, it's going to be the Lambert conformal. And I'm going to put my central longitude at minus 98 and central latitude at 35. And if we just run that, do we have, nope, yep, typo. There we go. So we have a axis. Nothing's plotted on it yet. That's just fine. I do like when I'm developing in a notebook to run things frequently, even though I'm not done, because it does help me find those typos before I get a lot of lines of code to go and look through. I'm going to set my extent to cover a bounding box that would be relevant, which in this case is somewhat bounded by the data that we got. We did specify that we wanted a small domain from the GFS. These are latitude and longitude, so we need to tell it that. Plat Curie, which just means these are latitudes and longitudes. They are unprojected coordinates. Okay, if I run that cell, well, now we have a box. So we've limited domain, but there's nothing plotted in it. So let's add some features so we can tell, well, where we are here. I'm going to use cfeature.states, and I'm going to use with scale and get it 1 to 50 million scale. Line width, I'm going to use 0.8 on this. Okay, great. So now I've got the US, the state outlines, and the Canadian province outlines. But let's go ahead and put a few more things on here as well. I mean, there are more land masses here that aren't shown, right? So we're going to put the coastline on, and now we see that Mexico shows up as well as some of the islands. We'll go ahead and put borders on. And I'm actually going to make the state lines a little bit smaller than coastlines or borders. I just like the look of that a little bit better. And we could put, land or ocean on here if we wanted to. Let's go ahead and do that. Why not? You can always change this to look however you like. But if we just use the defaults for land and ocean, we get this map. And I'm not too unhappy with that. The colors make it look a little bit nicer maybe for a presentation. You'd probably want a black and white map in a paper, but let's go with this for now. So now we need to put our contours on here of MSLP. I'm going to capture a handle to that, call it CS, and I'm going to call contour. First, we need to specify our x-coordinate, which is longitude, our y-coordinate, which is latitude, and then our data, MSLP. I'm going to specify that I want these to be black contour lines. And then the most important part is we need to specify a transform. Remember what coordinates these are in. We have lat and lon in degrees. So we need to specify again that is Plat Curie. And there we go. Now we've got our contour plot. I'm not a big fan of how thick these contours are. So let's go ahead and modify that. Maybe set a line width of 1. And it's line widths, not width. That's why we had that error message. Yeah, I think I'm reasonably happy with that at the moment. We can put labels on those contours if we want. I'm going to call contour label or C label. Pass it that handle to our contours. I'm going to tell it that I just want these labeled as integers. And let's go with a font size. Let's try something like 10 for this. Now that might be a little bit big. Maybe a 6. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good to me. Okay, so now we've got our map. We're ready to put our high and low locations on it. I think you can see where some of these are going to go just based on looking at the contours. But let's see how the find peaks method did for finding these itself. So we're going to use scatter text, which this is a improvement if you're just using Matplotlib scatter text for making things easier to plot on maps when you're plotting meteorological data. So I'm going to use scatter text, which we imported at the beginning, give it our axis. Remember MSLP longitude, our x-coordinate, and I'm going to plot the highs first, so I need to index into that with where our high x values were. Okay, and you can type it again, you can copy and paste however you want. I'm going to copy and paste. Latitude, highs, y. And then we can either label it with the value, we can label it with an H or an L. I think I'm going to start out by just labeling it with an H for the high. Traditionally, of course, the color for that is going to be red. Size, I'm going to start with something like a 20, make it pretty large. I'm going to make it a bold font as well, so it really shows up. And of course, we need to specify transform because it is not in our map coordinates. It's not in any sort of Lambert conformal projected system. It's just in Latin lon, which is Lat Curie. Let's see what happens. Okay, those actually look pretty good. I might want to be a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll make them a size 24. Yeah, I like that a little better. Okay, so there are my 3 high locations. So we're going to do the exact same thing again, except for our low locations. So low x, low y. I'm going to plot it with an L, and I'm going to make it blue. And there's our one low. Boom, right in the center where we would expect it to be here. So now we're going to go ahead and label them with their value. Now, this may or may not be necessary. You've already got the contour value there, but let's just do it anyway so we see how it can be done. So instead of the high label, we're going to want to actually put the value, right? So MSLP, I'm going to access the values and index in with HX, HY. These, I want them to stay red. The size, I probably don't want them nearly as large, and I don't think I want them to be bold, so we'll get rid of that. Okay, size 1. Let's try size 11. There we go. And then location, I'm going to shift them down in Y just a little bit so they don't plot right on top. I don't care about the X position, that's fine, but I'm going to shift them minus 15 in Y. And let's see. Okay, we get an error here. What happened? Well, it says I'm indexing out of bounds. Why? Because these are backwards. It's the order that the data are stored in our X array. Okay, now we've got a different error message. We scroll down to the bottom and see what's happening. And this is just how things go when we're in the notebook, right? So I've got something that says NumPy float 64 has no attribute split. That's fascinating. There's something going on here that is not in my code because I'm not calling NumPy split. But yeah, something's just not plotting right here. So let's look at it and see if we can find what else is going on. Okay, and I've got to admit, this one is a little bit tricky. And what I ended up finding out, and I'm not actually sure why this was creating an error as enigmatic is this, is it wanted a formatter specified for the data. So in this case, I don't want any places after the decimal. And then I get my values plotted. I think I want them a little bit smaller, maybe an 8. Yeah, I think I like that better. So missing a formatter was causing it to have trouble drawing those particular scatter text objects. I'm going to paste that again, change my highs to lows. And let's plot that. Okay, so now I've got my low plotted there. So now we've been able to make this map with just about a dozen lines or so of plotting code. And this is great because we have these automatically plotted high and low locations, so you could use this as a reusable code for creating weather briefings or automated graphics. I hope that you found this useful, and I'll see you on next week's MetPy Monday.